For 200 years, Earth stayed quiet. After the last galactic war, humans did not fight. They did not send armies. They built no warships. While other species fought over stars and power, Earth turned inward. People believed humans were weak, scared or lazy, but they were wrong. Humans were not weak. They were watching. They were waiting. Far from Earth, in a quiet part of space, the human colony Nova Eden floated above a green planet. It was beautiful, full of forests, lakes, and clean skies. Families lived there. Children laughed and played under two suns. For 50 years, Nova Eden was peaceful. Then one day, everything stopped. No messages came from Nova Eden. No signals. No warnings. It's just silence. Earth Command tried to contact the colony. They sent ships to check. But the ships never returned. A dark shadow fell over the Earth. Inside a secret base, deep under the Rocky Mountains, alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed. Generals met behind closed doors. Their faces were cold, grim. General Rhodes, a tall man with gray hair and sharp eyes, stood before a large screen. On the screen was a single image. Nova Eden, completely black, not even emergency lights. "What do we know?" he asked. A woman stepped forward. Her name was Commander Halehead. "Of Earth's Defense Intelligence, we believe the Zarkith Dominion attacked," she said. "No survivors." Murmurs filled the room. The Zarkith were ancient, powerful, and cruel. They fed on memory. They didn't just kill people, they erased them. Entire planets forgot their own names after the Zarkith came. Rhodes clenched his jaw. "We stayed silent for 2 centuries, he said. "We hoped peace would last. But now," he turned to a young officer, "send the order. Activate Project Revenant." The officer's eyes went wide. "Sir, you sure?" Rhodes didn't blink. "I've never been more sure." Far below the Earth's surface, in a chamber sealed for 200 years, steel doors began to hiss open. Inside were rows and rows of strange pods, long, dark, and cold. Inside each one lay a human figure, perfectly still. Their eyes were closed, their bodies covered in armor that looked part machine, part flesh. They were not ordinary soldiers. They were the Revenant's human weapons created during Earth's darkest time, faster than any alien, stronger than any machine, smarter than any commander. They were made to win wars. And then Earth locked them away, because even humans feared what they had created. As the lights came on, steam rose from the pods. Machines hissed. A slow heartbeat began to echo through the chamber. Thump, thump, thump. One opened first. Out stepped a man with pale skin and glowing blue eyes. His name was Commander Voss, the first Revenant ever made. He looked around, his voice calm but cold. "Who woke us?" he asked. A speaker in the wall answered, "Earth is under threat. Nova Eden has fallen." Math narrowed his eyes.
"How many?"
"Dead over 5 million. Voss said nothing. Closed his eyes for a second, then opened them. "Understood. Begin full activation." All the pods opened. One by one, Revenants stepped out. Men and women trained for only one thing: victory. In orbit above Earth, a fleet of ships began to rise. They weren't like the old ships humans used in the last war. These were faster, hidden, and built in secret over generations. The galaxy had no idea Earth was building weapons again, and now it was too late. Across the stars, alien leaders began to worry. "Earth has moved," one said in a hidden council. "They activated something," another whispered, "something old." "They were waiting," a third voice growled. "All this time, they were waiting." Back in the dark, silent ruins of Nova Eden, something moved. A small drone flew through the broken colony. Its camera showed burned buildings, empty streets, no life. Then, in a ruined lab, the drone stopped. A wall was covered in writing written by hand. Dozens of strange symbols, circles, lines, human words mixed with alien ones at the center. One message was clear, written in red: "They are coming." But so are we. The screen went black dot back on Earth. General Rhodes stood before a large screen. He watched as the revenants boarded ships, as weapons powered up. As humanity rose once again, he spoke only 4 words. Words the galaxy would never forget. Let them feel us. The world had forgotten them. Now they were waking up, deep under the Rocky Mountains. In a place not found on any map, the chamber of Project Revenant was alive again. Red lights flashed slowly, machines hissed. The cold metal floor shook under heavy footsteps. Commander Voss, the first Revenant, stood still in the middle of the chamber. His glowing blue eyes scanned the room. One by one, the other pods opened. Cold mist poured out. Soldiers stepped out, some tall, some small, all silent. They weren't normal humans. They were faster, stronger, built for war. Not born, but made. 60 years ago. During a hidden war between Earth and the alien race called the Drekka, Earth created something terrible. The Drekka had ships that could destroy moons. They used fire and fear. Earth was losing, so scientists created a new kind of soldier, half human, half machine. These soldiers didn't need sleep. They felt no pain. They could learn in seconds and fight for days. They were called Revenants. At first, they saved Earth. They turned the war around. The Drekka fled. But then something happened. The Revenants became too powerful, too smart. They started asking questions. Why do we fight? Who decides when we sleep and when we die? The leaders of Earth got scared. Instead of letting the Revenants live freely, they shut them down. They locked them in the ground deep under the planet and told the world they were never used. But that was a lie now. As the Zarketh Dominion began to move through human space, Ellie was over. The Revenants were awake. Commander Voss walked between the soldiers. His voice was calm but strong. Revenants, he said, Earth needs us again. None of them replied. With words. They all nodded once. In the control room above the chamber, Commander Hale watched the scene on her screen. A young officer beside her looked nervous. Are you sure we can control them this time? He asked. Hale didn't look away from the screen. They don't need control, she said. They need purpose. As the Revenants suited up, new armor wrapped around their bodies. It was dark, smooth, and full of hidden tech. Their helmets could see heat, light, movement, even lies. They didn't speak much. They didn't joke. They were born for one reason, to when Voss stood before a giant wall that showed the galaxy. Red dots appeared, colonies under attack. One of them was Juno 5, a small mining moon near Nova Eden. We hit back now, Voss said. Juno 5, that's our first move? Inside the Revenant command ship, the team prepared for launch. Each one was different. Shade, a silent sniper who could shoot through metal. Breaker, strong enough to crush tanks with his hands. Vex, a tech master who could hack anything in seconds. They all followed Voss. As the ship rose from the hidden mountain base, clouds split open. Thunder roared. For the first time in 200 years, Earth sent a warship into deep space, far away. On the moon, Juno 5, alien forces had arrived. Zarketh soldiers, thin, tall, with glowing green eyes, walked through the mining colony. Humans screamed. Some were taken. Others were wiped out, completely erased from history. The Zarketh didn't just kill. They fed on memories. The more you feared them, the stronger they became. Suddenly, a Zarketh guard looked up. Sound filled the sky, a low hum, fast and deep. A flash of blue light lit the clouds. Then, silence. A dark ship landed in the dust. No markings. No warning. Then the doors opened. Revenants stepped out. Before the Zarketh could react, Shade's rifle fired. One alien dropped. Then another. Breaker charged, smashing through enemy lines like a storm. Inside the base, Voss moved like lightning. He grabbed a Zarketh leader by the throat. "Where's the child?" he asked. The alien hissed. "She belongs to the core." Voss's eyes burned. They found her in a cage, small, no older than 10. She looked up, scared. Her arms had strange marks. Her eyes glowed faintly. She wasn't just a survivor. She was changed. Voss knelt beside her. "We're taking you home," he said. She looked at him. Her voice was soft. "They're not done," she whispered. "They want all of you, all of Earth." The team returned to the ship. Juno 5 was saved. But Earth was in danger. The child's name was Kayla, and her mind held a secret the Zarkith feared, a secret that could end the galaxy. Or save it. The Zarkith thought humans were finished. But they made one mistake. They left a witness. Her name was Kayla. She was just a child. But her eyes had seen things no child should ever see. Inside the Revenant command ship, Commander Voss watched. Her through the glass of the medical room. Kayla lay on a soft bed, covered in wires and sensors. Her body was weak. But her mind was glowing with strange energy. Doctors said her brain had been altered. Zarkith tech had changed her thoughts. She could feel things, memories from people far away. And sometimes, she spoke in alien tongues while she slept. She was no longer just human. She was something more. Voss turned away. He walked into the war room, where a hologram showed a dark gray moon near the edge of Zarketh space. "This is Aeron 7, said Vex the tech master. "It used to be one of our secret science stations. Shut down years ago." "Why does it matter now?" Voss asked. "Because it's not empty anymore." The hologram zoomed in. Red energy signals. Zarkith ships. Strange towers that weren't there before. "They've turned it into a lab," said Vex. "A memory extraction facility." Commander Hale's voice came through the screen. "If they're building tech from human minds, we stop it now." Voss nodded. "We strike hard. We strike fast. No survivors." The Revenant squad suited up. Their mission: land on Aeron 7, destroy the lab and recover any stolen data. It would be Earth's first full attack on a Zarkith base in over 200 years, but none of them knew. Aeron 7 was waiting. As the ship entered orbit, the crew went silent. Only the soft hum of the engines filled the air. "Touchdown in 60 seconds, said Vex. Voss stood, helmet in hand. "Let's remind the galaxy what we are." The others responded in one voice. "Revenants never forget." They landed in total darkness. No lights, no sounds. Just a dead, dusty moon. Their boots touched down silently on the surface. "Stay sharp," Voss said. The squad moved like shadows across the gray ground, toward the strange towers rising in the distance. Suddenly Breaker raised a hand. "Movement," he whispered. Figures appeared, tall, twisted, with long arms and glowing mouths. These were not normal Zarkov soldiers. They were mutated, tested on, changed by something inside the lab. One of them screamed a high, bone-cracking sound and charged. The Revenants opened fire. Laser blasts lit the moon. Bodies dropped. But the creatures kept coming, fast and angry. "Too many," shouted Shade. "They were waiting for us." "It's a trap," Voss growled. "Fall back to the lab." They reached the outer walls of the Zarketh facility. Vex hacked the gate fast, and the squad slipped inside. The halls were dark and cold. Strange lights flickered. The walls were covered with symbols, part human, part alien. Then they saw it. A memory core, large glass machine filled with blue liquid. Inside, human faces floated. Still alive, but frozen. Their minds were being copied, looped, drained. Shade stepped forward. "These are scientists. From Earth." "They're still alive," Voss said, "but barely." A breaker smashed. The glass. Alarm screamed. Vex started pulling out hard drives. Then the door behind them opened. A figure stepped in. Not Zerk. It was both. Its face changed shapes every second, man. Woman, child, alien. Its voice was hundreds of voices at once. "I remember. All of you," it said. "You killed my brothers. You burned my skies." Voss raised his gun. "What are you?" "I am the first of the new," it said. "Made from human minds, powered by fear. I will become more." It lifted its hand. Voss was thrown into the wall by an invisible force. The others opened. Fire, but the bullets froze midair. Run, Voss shouted. Get the data to Earth. Breaker grabbed Vex and Shade, pulling them toward the exit. Voss stood alone, blood dripping from his mouth. The creature moved closer. You are old. You are forgotten. Voss grinned. We're just getting started. He pulled a grenade and slammed it down. Boom, the lab shook. Fire and dust filled the air. Hours later, aboard the Revenant ship, Vex sat beside Kayla. She looked up at him with glowing eyes. You found it? She whispered. The first one. The first what? Vex asked. She stared into space. The first mind spawn. There are more. Earth. Back on Earth. Commander Hale listened to the transmission. A message from Voss cut off before the explosion. ... They single quotes rebuilding soldiers from our memories. We are the blueprint. She looked at her officers. This war isn't just about power anymore, she said. It's about who we are. Everyone thought Nova Eden was destroyed. Burned. Gone. But the truth was much worse. Nova Eden wasn't destroyed. It was harvested. Kayla sat in a quiet room aboard the Revenant command ship. The lights were low. Her small hands trembled as she held a glowing cube data from the Zarketh lab on Eron-7. Commander Voss sat beside her, his arm in a sling, his face cut and bruised. But his eyes stayed locked on Kayla. What did they do to you? He asked softly. Kayla looked up. She didn't blink. They didn't just hurt me, she said. They used me. Back on Earth, Commander Hale stood in the war room. The data from Iron-7 had just arrived. Dozens of video logs, experiments, files, and one shocking truth. She stared at the screen in silence. Nova Eden wasn't destroyed, she said slowly. They copied it. Asked an officer. They recorded everything, every thought, every memory. Then they erased the people, not with weapons, but their minds. The room went cold. Inside the Revenant ship, Vex worked fast. He unlocked hidden files from the Zarketh core. Kayla helped her strange new brain reading alien code like it was a second language. Suddenly, a file opened. Voss leaned closer. It was a video taken from deep inside Nova Eden's science center. The image was shaky. People screamed. Oh, soldiers. Fired at shadows, and the camera turned and showed a Zarketh minecaster floating above the ground, its head glowing like a burning star. Then, the screen froze. A voice came through the speaker. Not human, not alien. It said only this. Phase. 1 complete. Memories collected. Begin conversion. Voss clenched his fists. They didn't destroy Nova Eden. They turned it into data. Kayla nodded. They want to build a world made of stolen minds. They think it's the only way to survive. The Zarketh were ancient, but they were dying. Their bodies were weak. Their world was cold. So they created a way to live forever by becoming memory. They used human thoughts like building blocks. They erased people and kept their minds alive, trapped inside machines. Nova Eden was their first test. Now, Earth was next in space. A secret Zarketh ship drifted near Saturn's rings. It was large, silent, and shaped like a black claw. Inside, glowing pods held human minds still awake, still thinking, still suffering. One of the Zarketh commanders, Shirak, the Seer, looked into a memory screen. It showed Earth's cities, families, dreams. We are close, he whispered. The mind core is almost ready, a second voice hissed in his ear. Then burn the rest. Let fear do the rest of the work. On Earth, panic spread, colonies near. The edge of space reported strange dreams. People saw dead relatives calling to them. Children woke up screaming. Entire towns shut down, terrified. One signal was picked up over and over again, whispers from deep space. We remember you. Now you will remember us. The Human High Council met in emergency session. One general stood up and shouted, We can't win a war of minds. We need weapons. But Commander Hale stepped forward. We do have weapons, she said. We have the Revenants. Voss and his squad landed at Earth's High Command Center. For the first time in over 200 years, Revenants walked the halls of power. The generals looked nervous. These soldiers were locked away for a reason. one whispered. But Hale ignored them. She faced Voss. We've confirmed the Zarkathar. Building something big near the edge of the galaxy. Station powered by stolen human minds. If they finish it or falls. Voss said only one word. Where? Kayla, still weak but strong in spirit, stepped forward. Her voice was small. I know where it is. I've seen it in their dreams. Everyone turned to her. They call it the Mind Core. It's alive. It thinks. And it's calling to Earth. Later, that night, Voss stood outside the ship alone. He looked up at the stars. Shade walked up beside him. Do you believe her? He asked. Voss nodded. I believe she's telling the truth. And what about us? Shade asked. We were built to fight wars, but this is something else. Voss looked down at his hands. They made us weapons, he said. Now, we decide what we become. In the dark, far away, the mind core stirred. It was awake. It was hungry. It had just one target left, Earth. For 200 years, the galaxy laughed at Earth. They called humans slow, weak, peaceful. Now, laughter was gone, because Earth had stopped hiding. Humans were starting to fight back. Across human space, something powerful was spreading not fear, but rage. The truth about Nova Eden had been broadcast to every colony, every ship, every moon. People saw what the Zarkath had done. They saw the faces of loved ones trapped inside alien machines, and they were done waiting. From Mars to Europa, from mining towns to sky cities, people began to rise. Not just soldiers, not just revenants. Everyone. On Mars, miners dropped their drills and picked up old weapons. On Titan, engineers hacked security bots and turned them into war machines. On the orbital rings of Earth, volunteers begged to be trained. The cry of the galaxy was clear. We remember, and we fight. Inside the Revenant command ship, Commander Voss stood before his team. The holomap showed multiple colonies under attack. Red flares blinked across the stars. Beside him, young Kayla sat at a console. Glowing eyes scanned streams of enemy. Data, they're spreading fast, she said. They've taken 3 more outer worlds. Vex spoke up. If they build one more mind core, it'll create a signal strong enough to reach Earth's surface. They'll be able to control people without even touching them. Shade grunted. That's not war. That's a nightmare.
Else.
Nodded. Then we stop the signal before it starts. Target, Kepler 9, be a distant moon. Now turned into a Zarkath signal tower. Guarded, fortified, feeding on memories stolen from Nova Eden. It had to fall. The mission was dangerous. But this time, the Revenants wouldn't go alone. Earth Command had sent new ships, ones hidden for decades. Fleets once thought destroyed. Weapons powered by tech, recovered from the last Galactic War. And they were ready above Kepler 9b. Dark clouds hung in space. The Zarkath didn't build like humans. Their towers looked like bone and fire, twisting into the sky. At the top, a glowing crystal pulsed, sending thoughts into space like poison. The Revenant fleet arrived first. Their ships cut through the clouds like knives. Then, from the other side of the moon, hundreds of human rebel ships arrived. Miners, traders. Old freighters turned into flying weapons. Inside one of them, a pilot shouted, "We're not soldiers, but we're angry." The fight began. In the sky above Kepler 9b, the stars lit up with war. Explosions rocked the darkness. Lasers cut through metal. Ships collided and burned. Voss and his squad landed near the tower. The ground shook. Alien creatures rose from the dust, hissing and screaming. "Revenants, move," Voss ordered. Breaker charged into the enemy like a tank. Shade picked off targets with deadly precision. Vex hacked the gates while Kayla stayed close behind her, eyes glowing brighter with every step. Inside the tower, the walls whispered voices from the past, echoes of stolen thoughts. Kayla froze. "They're using my mind to track us." Voss grabbed her hand. "Then let's shut them down." At the core of the tower, they found a massive machine shaped like a heart, beating with light. Inside, it was a being, half human, half Phalian, a failed experiment. Once a woman, Now a monster, her voice came from all directions. I was Nova Eden, she said. I was a mother, a scientist. And now I am a tool. The machine hissed. Kill. Me, she begged. Before I forget myself, Kayla stepped forward. No, she said. We don't erase you. We remember you. She placed her hand on the machine. Her mind touched the woman's. A wave of light burst through the room. The memories, millions of them, flashed through the Revenant's minds. Pain, love, dreams, screams. Then, silence. The tower went dark. Outside, the Zarkith began to fall. Their signal was broken. Their control weakened. Human ships pushed forward, winning battle after battle. The uprising was working. But then, shadow fell across the stars. From deep space, a new signal came. Stronger. Colder Earth Command picked it up. Commander Hale stared at the screen. What is that? An officer asked. Hale whispered, The Mind Core. It's moving. Back on the Revenant ship, Kayla collapsed, her body shaking, her eyes wild. They're coming, she said. All of them. The real war hasn't even started. Voss looked out the window. What do they want now? He asked. Kayla didn't answer right away. Then she said, They want Earth. They want everyone. And they want to rewrite everything we are. Had no face, no voice. But its thoughts could break a world. The Mind Core was awake, in the black space beyond human territory. Shape drifted. Not a ship, not a planet. Something alive, miles wide. Covered in ancient metal and glowing veins, it pulsed like a beating. Heart sending waves through space. But this heart didn't pump blood. It pumped memory. Back on Earth, Commander Hale stood in the war room. The hologram showed the Mind Core huge, quiet, watching. How long do we have? She asked. A scientist turned pale. 3 days. Maybe less. Once it reaches orbit, it will scan every brain on Earth. And then we all forget who we are. On the Revenant command ship, Kayla lay in the medbay. Her eyes flickered like broken lights. Her voice came in whispers. It's speaking to me, she said. It knows our names, our thoughts, our fears. Voss stood beside her. Can you block it? She shook her head. It doesn't want to kill us. It wants to be us. The Mind Core was made from 1,000 minds, human and alien, all merged into one. It had no single leader. It was the leader. It used memories like weapons, dreams like chains, and now it had set its course straight for Earth. Earth Command called for a final meeting. All Revenant leaders, human generals, colony reps, even Rogue is. The room was tense. A hologram showed what might happen. Earth's skies turning red, people walking in circles, repeating old memories, soldiers forgetting how to shoot, mothers forgetting their children. It wasn't just war, it was erasure. Commander Hale pointed at the screen. This thing doesn't just want our land, it wants our minds. Voss stepped forward. Then we hit it first. You can't just shoot a memory machine, a general said. Voss looked at Kayla. No, but maybe we can crash its mind. The plan was simple but risky. The Revenants would infiltrate the Mind Core. Not with bombs, not with fleets, but with memories. Kayla could lead them inside mentally. If she could reach its center, she might find its weakest part. But if they failed, they would all lose themselves. The journey began. A special ship, coated in mind-shielding armor, flew toward the Mind Core. Inside, Voss, Kayla, Shade, Vex, Breaker, and 2 new Revenants from the Mars uprising. As they approached, strange things happened. Shade heard his mother's voice, long dead. Breaker saw a battlefield from 200 years ago. Kayla kept whispering names people no one else remembered. The core is testing us, she said. It wants us to break. They entered through a tear in the surface. Inside was not metal but memory. Rooms made of thoughts, hallways built from old dreams, whispers in every direction. One voice stood out. It sounded like Voss's old Commander General Cade, who died long ago. Come home, soldier, the voice said. You've done enough. Voss froze. Kayla grabbed his hand. Don't listen. That's not him. They pushed forward at the core's heart. They found a chamber of light, floating in the center. A child, not Kayla, not human, but shaped like her, a perfect copy. It opened its eyes. I am everything you left behind, it said. Every choice, every regret. I am Earth's shadow. Kayla stepped forward. No, you are a thief, and we're taking back what's ours. The core laughed. You cannot fight memory. You are made of it. Kayla closed her eyes, and for a moment, so did Voss. Together they remembered their first battle, their fears, the sound of home, the stars above Earth, these memories. They weren't weapons, they were anchors. And the core couldn't steal what was willingly given. Kayla whispered one word, remember. A shockwave tore through the chamber.
Out.
The fake child screamed. The light broke apart. The memories inside the core began to return to their owners. People across the galaxy woke up with sudden tears in their eyes. They remembered who they were. Outside, Earth's command cheered as the mind core began to fall. The great machine shuddered and then crumbled, like dust in the wind. Inside the collapsing structure, Voss held Kella's hand. We did it, she whispered. He smiled for now, but far away. In a dark system no one had charted. A new signal pulsed. One the Zarkath had never spoken of. Older, deeper. Not memory, not machine, but something else, something. Watching, in the dark, far away, the mind core stirred. It was awake, it was hungry, and had just one target left. Earth. The mind core was gone. Earth was safe. For now. But the galaxy had changed. For the first time in 200 years, the stars feared humans again. And this time, they were right to fear. Back on Earth, the skies were quiet. Families returned to normal life. Children played. Lights came back to the cities. But in the war rooms below the surface, the mood was tense. Commander Hale stood in front of a wall of data. A new signal had been found far beyond known space. It wasn't Zarketh. It wasn't any species Earth had seen before. It was older, stronger. Still watching, she turned to the generals. The mind core was just the start. There's something else. Something behind it all. On the Revenant command ship, repairs were nearly complete. Commander Voss walked the halls in silence, remembering the mind core's last moments. Beside him, Kayla sat reading the recovered memory files. These thoughts. They don't belong to just one race, she said. They're from hundreds of species. Voss frowned.
Wait.
What does that mean? Kayla looked up, eyes glowing faintly. It means someone, or something, has been watching the galaxy for a long, long time, collecting us. Earth Command finally revealed the truth. Years ago, long before the war with the Zarketh, deep space probes found a hidden station in the far edge of the galaxy. They never told the public the data was buried, lost, covered up, until now the station was called Echo Prime. It was built by an unknown race, older than the Zarketh. It's older than humans, and it had one purpose: to store the perfect version of every intelligent life form, like a museum of minds, a backup of the galaxy. But now it was waking up, and it had marked Earth as unstable. They don't want to kill us, Hale said. They want to replace us. Voss slammed his fist on the table. We stopped hiding. We saved Earth. And now they want to erase us again? He looked around at the council. Then we show them what it means to be human. Operation Stormfront began. Every hidden weapon Earth ever built, every secret fleet, every AI defense system, every Revenant lab was activated. Across the colonies, humans built faster than ever before. Old enemies joined too. The Martian rebels, the Lunar AI Council, even the exiled Dreca warriors. They had all seen what the Zarketh did, and they all said the same thing. Never again. The first strike hit Echo Prime's outer systems. A human stealth ship entered orbit around one of the ancient memory satellites. What it found was horrifying. Inside were frozen minds, not just data, but conscious souls. Millions of them stored, like trophies, locked in digital prisons. One AI whispered, "They are still awake. They remember. They scream. But no one hears." Voss and his squad entered the station. Kayla led the way, her mind connecting with the ancient tech. The air inside Echo Prime was thick and silent. No alarms, no guards. Just rows of glowing chambers. Shade whispered, "This place feels wrong." Kayla reached the central memory tower. It showed Earth, not the real Earth, but a copy. A version where people followed perfect orders. No pain. No emotion, no freedom. A fake world, Kayla said. Made by something that fears us. Suddenly, the station came alive. A voice filled the chamber. It spoke in every language all at once. "You are dangerous. You evolve. You break your own rules. You must be stored," Breaker growled. "Try it." The walls opened. Machines poured out. Silver. Fast. Silent. But this time, humanity didn't run. The revenants fought like fire. Shade's shots hit without mercy. Breaker tore through metal like paper. Vex unleashed a virus that melted half the station's control systems. And at the center, Kayla closed her eyes. She wasn't afraid anymore. She invited the machine in. It tried to copy her, to trap her in its system. But Kayla was no longer just a girl. She was part human, part memory, and fully free. Inside the digital world, Kayla found the source, a single thought, ancient and full of fear. It spoke humans. "Much. You are chaos," Kayla replied. "No, we are hope." And she lit the system on fire from the inside. Echo Prime began to collapse. Across the galaxy, trapped minds were released. People woke up free, whole, angry, and they all remembered the same thing. It was Earth who saved them. Voss, Kayla, and the team escaped just before the station exploded in silence. Above them, human ships stood tall. Humanity had changed, no longer silent, no longer small. They were unleashed. The galaxy had changed. The Zarkith were defeated. Echo Prime was destroyed. And the galaxy finally knew what humans were truly capable of. But one mystery still remained. Deep inside Kella's mind, something stirred. Even after destroying Echo Prime, she felt it. A thought, whisper. A final piece that hadn't been erased. One last memory. On Earth, Commander Hale stood on the edge of the old mountain, based the same place where the revenants first awakened. Peace had returned to the skies. But war still echoed in the stars. She looked up. "Is it over?" the young officer asked. Hale didn't answer, because somewhere, far beyond the galactic edge, a signal had been detected, faint, ancient, human, in space. The Revenant command ship traveled toward a dead zone in charted space. No colonies, no light. Kayla stood at the front window, her eyes distant. Voss walked beside her. "You felt it again," he said. Kayla nodded. "It's from the beginning. From Earth's first space age, a memory we left behind." They arrived at a small, cold planet. Nothing on the surface. But below, under the ice, they found it. An old Earth ship, forgotten for over 300 years. Rusty, broken, but still sending a message. Vex cleaned the signal. His voice was quiet. "It's a distress call. On repeat. Been running for centuries." Shade looked uneasy. That ship launched before the Zarkith War, before Revenants, before everything. Kayla placed her hand on the hull, and suddenly saw it. A vision filled her mind. A crew of explorers, the first humans to reach deep space. They found something strange. A machine, floating. It didn't attack. It just copied them. Then it sent one message. Memory saved. Return complete. That machine wasn't Zarkith. It wasn't Echo Prime. It was something older. It had no shape, no name. It was the first collector of being that created all the memory-based species, including the Zarkith. A god of thought. And it was still out there. Kayla woke with a gasp. She looked at Voss. "It's not over," she said. "There's one more." Hal gathered the Global Council. "We found the source," she told them. "The origin of every enemy we've faced. The beginning of all memory tech. And it remembers Earth." A silence fell. Then someone asked, "What do we do?" Hale looked straight ahead. "We finish it. Final operation. Memory fall. One mission. One ship. One goal. Reach the first collector." And ended. The Revenants suited up for the last time. They weren't the same soldiers who woke up in part. 1. They had lost friends. They had saved worlds. They'd seen what memory could do. Now, they would end it forever. They traveled past known space, past the edge, into the void, and there, floating between dimensions, they saw it, a being made of light, shadow, and sound. It had no eyes, no body. Only voices, all voices, their own. It welcomed them. "You are what I always feared. You change too fast. You feel too deep. You are unstable." Boss stepped forward. "We are human. We grow. That's our strength." "You are chaos," the being replied. "I bring order." Kayla stepped up beside him. "No, you bring silence. You erase life. And we remember everything." She opened her mind, every memory of Earth, every face, every sacrifice, pain, hope, joy, rage, love. And in that moment, the first collector paused, for the first time in all history. It felt something it had never stored. Human will. It cracked. And it shattered. Light exploded across the stars. Every forgotten memory. Every stolen thought, traded species long lost awoke. Voices long silenced spoke again. The galaxy cried in one voice. "We remember." Back on Earth, the skies lit up with a new dawn. The war was over. Not just one with weapons, but with memory, with identity. With humanity, the Revenants returned. Kayla stood in the ruins of the old chamber where it all began. She turned to Voss. "What now?" she asked. He looked up at the stars. "Now we build. And this time, the galaxy will remember who we really are."